This is the Brave New Coin Crypto Conversation, hosted by Andy Pickering.
Hi everyone, Andy Pickering here. I'm your host and welcome to the Crypto Conversation, a Brave New Coin podcast where we talk to the people building the future in the Bitcoin, blockchain and cryptocurrency space. Let's do it. My guest today is Kevin Rusher. Kevin is the CEO at RAAC, which stands for Regnum Aurum Acquisition Corp. And look, Kevin can explain exactly what that means, but it's a very cool name. Hey, welcome to the show, Kevin.
Hey, Andy. Thanks for having me. Super excited to be here. And Regnum Aurum Acquisition Corp. Regnum Aurum is Latin for Kingdom of Gold. So Kingdom of Gold Acquisition Corp. Or RAAC.
I like it. I like it a lot. A very cool name. All right. Well, just before we jump into what RAAC actually is, Kevin, let's just learn a little bit about yourself. Would be super cool if you could please introduce yourself. Would love to hear a little bit of your personal and professional backstory. What have you been doing in the lead up, to joining the team at RAAC?
Yeah. So kind of started back in 2017. Have a background in accounting and finance, and kind of the journey started when I had to write a paper for a third-year finance course, specifically on financial technologies. And the list of topics was given to us, and the first one was AI, and it talked about how AI would replace corporate audits, and I was like, "Ooh, that doesn't sound like a great value proposition for an accountant." And then I got super far down the list and stumbled upon Bitcoin. Got obsessed, orange pilled, if you would say, and kind of was positioning myself to be a crypto accountant. So in the meantime, I was working at an exchange, helping with KYC and AML. I helped build like a medium scale GPU mining facility, and I kind of just helped manage family and friends crypto, and still doing accounting. And DeFi summer happened, and kind of just dropped the accounting and focused on the crypto, and never really focused on kind of any professional experience in the DeFi space. Have just been a power user of a lot of protocols over the years.
Got it. Makes sense, Kevin. All right. So how do you turn into, I guess, like a DeFi power user into becoming CEO at RAAC? And I guess really you should explain a little bit about what RAAC is. So give us the high level summary.
Yeah, so high-level summary, RAAC is a protocol that allows users to bring RWAs, or specifically revenue-generating RWAs that could be collateralized for a low and predictable borrowing rate, which is achieved through curve finance liquidity mechanisms. And we allow users to take these loans, utilize them in any way they see fit, or what they can do is deposit to our one-click deposit strategies, which are basically stablecoin auto compounders based around curve finance DEX positions.
Got it. And am I right in thinking that to begin with, in terms of those real-world assets, you're looking at real estate first?
Correct. Real estate and gold.
Very nice. And so explain how that works in the real world then, in terms of what is possible for people to do with both real estate and gold via RAAC.
Yeah, so I think one really important kind of thing to distinguish, I think, between RAAC and I always find this funny to use this word in DeFi, but traditional. I guess you could say traditional RWA protocols is people are usually tokenizing T-bills, or if they are bringing other assets on chain, they're completely walled off from the actual DeFi protocols that users interact with on a daily basis. So we've really taken the time to develop a protocol not only designed to be as compliant as possible, but to be as seamless and frictionless and integrate into existing DeFi as we know it. So it really allows the existing user base today to access these assets and use them in a composable manner. What I feel is people build for what they wish the market was and not what it is. And what I mean by that is really retail-oriented products where we feel that the users who need access to products like this are the more sophisticated users on chain.
Yeah, that makes sense, Kevin. So it'd be good if tell us exactly where we are in terms of, I guess, the rollout of RAAC. You had a testnet phase. Has that completed? Are we in mainnet? Where are we in kind of on that deployment journey?
Yeah, we're currently still on testnet, and we'll kind of be doing a closed beta just to kind of show the flow and prove all the mechanisms, which we then plan to do our full scale launch. That will be where the gold ties in. So the closed beta will start with the real estate, and as we transition into full launch, we'll be incorporating the gold.
Yeah. All right, and so I see that. So NFTs, you're using NFTs as part of this, I guess, to represent. That's just the way that the language that you're using for the tokenization of real estate. So, but it's really interesting. So, talk us through how that works and what role these NFTs play and kind of the different parts of that tokenization journey.
Yeah, so specifically at RAAC, we focus on one-to-one backed real estate NFTs. So the NFT actually represents an entire property, in real life. So what users are able to do is redeem the NFT with RAAC, and if they pass all the KYC AML checks, we would then transfer the title of the property to their name directly. But up until that point, it's a composable DeFi token that can be used across any protocol.
Yeah, and so what are the different use cases? Who like different people in the, I guess, the real estate ecosystem? Just give me a few more use cases as to who you're aiming at this app for and what they would utilize RAAC for.
Yeah, I would say a very streamlined way to gain exposure to real estate. So kind of the single actor that would be investing in properties. You have someone who wants to access the stability of real estate, take a loan, and then they can go run DeFi strategies, which is what we're specifically focused around. Diversification for DeFi protocols themselves. And it's a way for institutions to access liquidity as well. You've seen similar products coming out. Aave with their Horizons is a very similar model. Permissioned assets with permissionless pools.
Yeah, and it's like real estate is one of the first examples of RWAs, I suppose, that people are really excited by, and it's obviously the same with you guys, Kevin. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think what we've seen with crypto, blockchain, DeFi is we've seen an emerging market become an asset class. And we're seeing the onboarding of institutions. And I think it's really interesting to see how retail sentiment is generally poor right now. But if you kind of look at the institutional side of things or the professional side of things, people are really excited where the space is heading. So I feel as more institutions come on chain and crypto absorbs more real world assets, it's allowing more diversified portfolios to be created on chain. And you're seeing a shift here where it's not a focus on volatility, but you're seeing a lot of new asset classes come on chain.
Yes, indeed. And what's interesting about the real world assets coming on chain, though, is they still exist in the real world. Like the beautiful thing about just holding some certain amount of Bitcoin as an investment or as a hedge or wherever you're holding it. The cool thing about Bitcoin is, it just exists digitally, and as long as you've got it secured in a safe way, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to worry about. What I'm getting at, Kevin, is I'm sure you know where I'm going. There's no property management. There are no lawns to mow. There is no tenants, landlord disputes, all that kind of stuff that comes with real estate. How does that kind of stuff get handled in terms of the real estate properties that are associated with like an NFT, let's say on RAAC?
Yeah, I think this will always kind of be a hot topic, especially with blockchain oriented people. I think there's no way to do RWAs in my opinion, like houses and other assets is without some degree of trust. It's needed, whether it's chain links, proof of reserves that rely on third-party attestations, things like that. You're not gonna move away from that. But also, what you gain through that is stability in an asset, and what you have is more control. I guess you there's finality with Bitcoin, right? You fat finger a transfer, and that's the end. Where there's a lot more control over our RWA assets. And I mean, I don't think there's anything in this world where you can't pick. If you pick up a stick, you're picking up both ends, and you got to give up something to get something. And this is kind of what comes with the territory of RWAs.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, let's talk about gold. I'd love to talk about gold. So I can see that I believe your testnet launch secured 235 million in gold-backed deposits. So just explain what that means, given that it's a testnet. But was that was institutional interest, was it?
Yeah, so kind of as I explained earlier, the core product of RAAC is our NFTs, which you're able to collateralize on our platform. Our secondary product is the Xeno bonds, which allow us to intake capital from DeFi and either lend it out or invest in real world projects. And then our third product is the silo system, where we intake real world assets into a treasury token, which then acts as a collateral for a stable coin. So that's where the gold comes in. So we'll be onboarding 1 million ounces of gold, and it's in ground. So the way it works is it gets valued at 20% of spot. So currently, 1 million ounces would roughly be about 3.3 billion. And if you were to take that at the discount, it would be roughly around 660 million. So what happens is, as they extract and refine the gold, it will reach parity with the spot value. So what they're looking to do is mint stable coins and deploy to DeFi to generate yield off of what's traditionally known as illiquid asset, which is pre-production gold.
So that's gold from the North Terrace mining project. It's kind of like a partnership with Pareto DeFi Solutions, right?
Correct.
And so how far along that product journey are you?
Yeah, so pretty far along. Designs are basically finalized. Code on RAAC's end is all there. Just finalizing some details on the Pareto Digital side of things, but looking to launch that at end of June or early July.
Yeah. And in terms of, like jurisdictional compliance and so on, I imagine there are some countries that RAAC will be available in, and some countries that it won't. Different rules around the world. How do you approach how do you think about the philosophy of regulation and trying to make sure that things stay compliant in a world that is constantly in flux?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting question because, like you said, it's a very dynamic industry, but also from a regulatory perspective, it's been extremely dynamic. So RAAC is actually based out of BVI, where the digital asset regime is already formed. And what we're implementing is geoblocks. Specifically, we're not available to U.S. persons, and that's because we are a Reg S offering. So to adhere to U.S. securities laws, that has to occur. We'll also be focusing on OFAC sanctioned countries, and we'll be running chain analysis on the protocol as well. We always aim to be as compliant as possible. We've been working on RAAC since around March 2023. So we've really taken our time to put all the pieces in place and adhere to all regulations as much as possible.
Yeah, very good, very good. And so, when will you go live in terms of mainnet rollout?
Yeah, mainnet would be along with the launch of the gold-backed stablecoin. So that would be like end of June, early July is the goal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's coming up fast.
Yeah, not too far off at all.
And I guess, yeah, what do you, looking around at the current state of DeFi, as you know, as a power user that has been involved since, I guess, the beginning, really, how would you characterize the current state of DeFi, and do you think what needs to change in terms of attracting, a new wave of adoption, not just existing crypto native power users, but making DeFi more accessible to I don't know, retail or the average everyday person, whatever it takes to kind of scale up that adoption? How do you think about DeFi in that context, Kevin?
Oh man, yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to tackle that. I think the first I would say the first and foremost is there needs to somewhat be a cultural shift around the industry, not from, like you had mentioned, the DeFi power user segment, but more so the retail side of things. I feel like it gets treated like we all know it gets treated like a casino. People trying to turn $1,000 into $1 million off meme coins, and I think we're starting to see a shift. But the last things to be appreciated, I think, in crypto will be the sophisticated financial products that can be produced in this industry. And the second point to this is I don't think lack of regulations kind of helped direct this, where certain projects were being crucified, but meme coins were green lighted, which was open season for rug pulls. So I think that did a lot more damage to the industry as well.
Yeah, very, very good points there, Kevin. I too tend to agree. All right. Well, look, as we start to finish up this part of the podcast, Kevin, for anyone that wants to learn more about RAAC, keep up to date, keep involved, track the journey to mainnet, get involved, what are some of the things that people can do, and where should they go?
Yeah, definitely follow us on X at Regnum Aurum, Regnum Aurum. We're running Galaxy campaigns. It's a great way to get involved and learn about the protocol.
Awesome. And yeah, I'll put a link to the website is in the show notes, listeners, but that website is simply RAAC.io. And well, Kevin, it is time to start to finish off the show. And we do that, of course, by running you through the very famous Crypto Conversation hot take round. Are you up for it?
Yeah, for sure.
Just going to run some questions at you, Kevin. Just want you to give me your honest answers, hot take style, if you like. Question 1 for you is, where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-chain opportunist spectrum?
I would definitely say I sit on the multi-chain spectrum for sure. I think there's a lot of use cases being built on different chains, and you're seeing these chains accrue a lot of institutional adoption. I personally fall in line with ETH. ETH has my heart. That's where RAAC will live primarily. But yeah, definitely towards multi-chain.
Yep, no worries. I thought you would say that. All right, well, what then, Kevin, would you say is your firmest conviction crypto opinion?
Yeah, I think the firmest one is, I think crypto and DeFi were created to empower people, and I think it has the power to change the world, and we're seeing it happen before our eyes.
Yes, indeed. All right, Bill Gates famously said we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. So look, yeah, anything you like, DeFi, RAAC, what does it all look like? The wonderful world of tokenization in 10 years' time.
Oh man, I think the space iterates so fast. You step away for a week and it's a whole new world. I think that's a really hard thing to describe and depict. I think you're gonna have permissioned DeFi and permissionless DeFi existing. And when I started back in 2017, we talked about how blockchain would swallow the world, and we would be like, oh, if institutions just put 1% of their capital into Bitcoin. That was always the major talking point. And I feel like we're kind of in the process of that. So I think we're going to see DeFi blockchain just integrated into the back end of a lot of financial products over the next 10 years.
Yes, indeed. All right, another way of thinking about this, of course, is sci-fi author William Gibson, who said the future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed. Can you think of an example of the future being here right now, Kevin, but most people aren't aware of it?
Yeah, I would say DeFi as a whole. Whenever I talk to people or retail investors in my personal life, it's always, oh yeah, I know about Ethereum, I know about Bitcoin, I know about staking, but they have no idea that DeFi exists. And once they kind of realize the opportunities and kind of the power of composability, their minds are blown. But they have no idea that this financial system exists right under their nose, and they have no idea. So I think that's one of the biggest things, is the power of composability and accessibility that DeFi offers.
Yes, indeed. Very well said. All right, and it brings us nicely really to the final question, Kevin, which is, what is your favorite science fiction book, film, or TV show?
Oh, that's a great one. Sheesh, it's been a long time, but I would say, and some people might drag on me for this, but one of my favorite ones was a book from when I was younger called Ender's Game.
Yes,
was a favorite of mine. So yeah.
Ender's Game is not a book I've read, but I have heard of Ender's Game, and GPT tells me that it is a 1985 sci-fi novel by Orson Scott Card, exploring the themes of leadership and morality and the psychological toll of war. Set in Earth's future, humanity is under threat from an insectoid alien species. Fascinating. There you go.
Yeah. There you go. It's kind of like DeFi, right? DeFi is kind of like a war. Liquidity is the ammunition, and the rug pullers and scammers are the insectoids. So
Nice.
yeah, it translates well.
I've never heard someone try and compare Ender's Game to DeFi and make the metaphor stick, but I think you've done it, Kevin. Well done. Kevin, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us on the show today. Just to close it out, again, please do tell people where they can go to keep up with what you and the team are building at RAAC. And look, shout out your socials, your personal socials, and the RAAC socials. Go for gold.
Yeah. Like I said, X. You'll find our link tree, which has our Discord. We'll be firing up our Telegram, but yeah, definitely X is the best place to keep up. From there, you can access our testnet and all around see what we're up to. We got some things up our sleeve, so you definitely want to stick around and keep up with us.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kevin. All the best, and bye for now.
Yeah, thank you so much. Such a pleasure being on, and thank you to all the listeners as well.